Show is ugly.
You ugly!
Hey boy, I don't mean to be rude, but the way you coming on made me catch an attitude. You wanna know what
This is why I'm here. This is what I came to talk about. This right here. And I have my notes here. I have a couple quotes that she said. Okay, listen. Little Mo calls Kelly Price, because apparently Kelly Price, Little Mo told off Dawn in the last episode. Apparently Dawn texted and called, I'm sure, and went to her house and was sitting in the kitchen crying. She told Kelly Price, and now Kelly Price isn't talking to Little Mo. Fine. Whatever. Little Mo didn't do anything to Kelly Price. So Little Mo, as a grown woman, is trying to figure out, Kelly Price, why haven't you been talking to me? Why haven't you been answering my texts? You know, you're supposed to be my big sister. What's tea, girl? What's wrong? So she calls her like an adult. She calls her to this little cafe. Kelly Price comes in with her shades on and this little hairpiece hanging all over her face and looking a mess. She comes in, she leans all forward, got her legs separated because I guess her thighs can't touch, which it's like, hey Kelly, hey, how are you? I'm good. And she's like, oh really, how are you? Lil Mo's like, really, how are you? And she's like, we're not being for real? Or something like that. She's like, this ain't really? And she was like, Lil Mo was like, I'm just trying to figure out, why you haven't been answering my calls or text. Kelly Price leans back and claps and starts calling for her husband. She goes, okay, Jeffrey Roll! Jeffrey Roll! And I'm sitting here like, and Lil Mo is sitting there like, what's happening? And so her husband comes in, and she's like, I'm not in here for no publicity stunts today. Like, you're just really that famous to be having publicity. Everything you do is a publicity stunt. When you stomp out of your house with those big thighs that my mother, listen, my mom came for Kelly Price's edges last night and snatched them off. She slayed, and it was phenomenal, and it was great. Anyway, she started calling her husband. She was like, we're not going to have any publicity stunts today. I told her if she wants to talk to me, then she can talk to me. Like, and she was talking to her husband. And Lil Mo was like, I assure you there aren't any publicity. Like, girl, we're not, I just want to have a conversation with you. I don't understand yeah. So then she, she's talking to her husband talking to Lil Mo through her husband. She's like, and tell Lil Mo I said, but they're standing right there. So Lil Mo's like, okay, let me go get my husband so we can have an even playing field. So she gets up and she heads to the door, and then she turns back to the door and she said, and I came in heels, so I came for peace. Like, girl, she didn't come to stomp you, which she very well could have. Everybody could stomp you. I could stomp you. Like, girl, everybody has the right. You have offended America, and we all want to whoop your tail. Anyway. So Lil Mo calls her husband. She's like, come down right now. She sings into the phone because I guess that's what they do. And it goes to commercial break. Whatever. It comes back. And Kelly Price said the most disgusting thing I've ever heard anybody say, ever. I have the quote here. I'm going to read it. She said, okay, because Lil Mo said, I want Dawn to be a part of the monologues. She's an asset. It'll be great. Kelly Price says, I'm not even willing to sit and be spoken to about something that I refuse to be a part of. Listen, Kelly Price, girl, you're not that fabulous. You're not a diva. You're nothing. You're not, you are not anything. You aren't that great. We like your voice. It's good. But you're not Beyonce, girl. You don't have the capabilities to refuse and not be willing to sit and listen to somebody talk to you because you're just Kelly. Listen, girl. Listen to me. Nobody likes you. Nobody's here for you. You are a conniving, backstabbing. I need to stop before I curse. Like, that's what, no, listen, I don't know what you think you have going on, but there's nothing going on for you, Kelly Price. Girl, I know you said you're booked. I know you said that. We all heard you say it. You were shaking your weave and you were like, I'm booked. And your weave was just jiggling and flying and flouncing everywhere, looking a mess, hanging off the side of your head on its last, like it is literally on its last thread. If that's a sew-in, girl, you've got one string holding that together. And I don't know why you thought you could still wear that. It's old. It's old. It's time to refresh. It's time to get some new weave. I didn't even mean to come for your weave, but listen, if it's glued in, if it's bonded, the glue is powder now. That's how old your tracks are. Listen, it's a mess, and you need to stop. And don't get me started on that body. Woo, God, hallelujah. Okay, no, but seriously, Kelly Price, girl, you're not that famous. I don't know. I don't even know what I want to say. You're not that phenomenal. You're not that famous. You're not just that amazing. Nobody has heard from you in many years, and you might be writing and this, that, and the other, but that doesn't mean anything, because we don't live for you, Kelly Price. Nobody was living. Okay, I lived a little bit. I had like an ounce of life because I used to like your music, and then you get on the show and you're disappointing your husband, you're disappointing your sons. I think you have 2 sons, maybe a son or daughter, I don't know. I know you have a son. You're disappointing him. You have a grandson that you were disappointing. He goes to daycare, and I'm sure those other kids laugh and like, yo, Meemaw is just really a mess, and she needs all the help she can get, because you aren't even willing to sit and be spoken to about something that you refuse to be a part of. Listen, no, you're not that amazing. I'm pissed. And then Lil Mo she's sitting there being civil. Like, girl, Lil Mo could pop off on you in any instance, at any moment in time. She could just, like, flip and go, and everybody would be clapping for her, because you are a colossal bad word. Like, you are not a good person, and nobody is here for you, girl. Okay, so then Little Mo is like, you know, I think she said something along the lines of, you know, maybe we want you to come back, or it would be nice if you know, joined us again. And all of Kelly Price's jealousy jumped out of her body at that moment. She said, come back to the Shantae show? Girl, who was even talking about Shantae? Who? Nobody was talking about Shantae. Shantae is fabulous, and she's way better than you at life, and she's a phenomenon of her own. She's a force to be reckoned with, and she will not be punked by you. And so you're jealous, and you're mad, because she's light-skinned, and she's got all that pretty hair, and she's got it shaved off on the side, and she's rocking the style that you hope to rock way better than you. And it's just, she's just really, really pretty, and really, really great, and sweet, and kind, and Kenny Lattimore can go and chew on dog feces. Like, he can go, because ain't nobody gonna take her son. Listen, I will go to court and vouch for her, and I don't even know this woman personally, but what I do know, Kelly Price, is that she's better than you. And so, yeah, you might need to come back to the Shantae show, even though it's not the Shantae show. She's like, you want me to come back to the Shantae show? Then she says, it's not my concern. I'm working on my own thing. Kelly Price, just because you decided to introduce an idea to the ladies about being, you know, doing this monologue, and then you set a date and didn't do nothing else for it, and they decided to move on, and because they had dedicated themselves to it, they promised you that they would do it, and then, you know, you didn't make any of the steps concerning getting this rolling, so they went ahead and did the thing. You can't be mad about that, girl. But you are, because you're nuts. And listen, I diagnosed her last night with the latest stage of syphilis.
Well, what's up with your grill? Cause you ugly, so please stop talking junk in my ear.
Turn the lights on. Turn the lights